So I know I've been a little low-key lately. I haven't actually made videos in about a month. I think the last time I made videos was when I was actually live streaming Uncharted 4. But E3 has come and gone. It was this past week or last week or whatever. And I wanted to do my thoughts on it. I knew this E3 was going to be weak going into it. It wasn't the big shebang like previous E3s are. E3 is sort of becoming less and less relevant because we have so much other different events that are taking place. The big one, of course, being stuff like Tokyo Game Show, Gamescom, GDC, all those other things. Nintendo has their Nintendo Directs. Sony sometimes does their own events too. We know Square Enix sometimes does their own events. It's just becoming less and less relevant. So I knew going into this, and it's not just the whole Nintendo thing. Everyone's saying that if you think E3 is less relevant, it's because you're a Nintendo fanboy or something, and it has nothing to do with just Nintendo. It has to do with look at all the major publishers, especially like Square Enix, did not have a showing. They had some little, I think, some live stream thing showing a couple trailers or something, but that was it. I didn't even watch it. Who else was it? I think was it EA? I think it was EA that it was either EA or Activision. Activision, not EA. It was Activision. Activision didn't have a conference. We know EA and Ubisoft had their own conferences. Ubisoft's was way too long and full of filler. I didn't watch most of it. I seen the beginning and I seen the end of it. But there was still a lot of interesting stuff coming out of E3. But basically, my whole point is E3 is getting less and less relevant, basically, in this day and age. So take that as you will. Like I said, less and less companies treat it that much. Even Sony's conference was pretty short compared to previous years. So, anyways, this is probably going to be a long video because I'm going to try to summarize, but basically, I'm not going to talk about everything. I'm just going to talk about what I cared about. Like I said, I don't really care for the lesser stuff like EA and Ubisoft and stuff, so whatever. Ubisoft, I did the beginning of theirs was flat out ridiculous, showing off Just Dance 2017 or whatever, and that dancing montage was just laughable. Ridiculous. But Microsoft's almost put me to sleep. It wasn't bad per se. I mean, they had games, but my issue with Microsoft is, first off, they started off with the Xbox One Slim, which at first was cool, but then you find out they pretty much didn't tell you the whole truth of it. What I mean by that is, like Xbox One Slim, it'll have 2 terabyte hard drive, and the models are starting at $299. So when you watch the conference, you think, oh, okay, it's gonna be a $299, smaller Xbox One with a 2 terabyte hard drive. That sounds sweet. Then after the conference, it was during the conference. You looked online. They didn't even say it during the conference, but you looked online, and you seen the press releases saying that starting at $299 means there's going to be a 500 gigabyte model at, I think it was 500 gigabytes for $299. If you want the 2 terabytes, you're paying for another $400. Kind of kills it a bit for me. Everything's Windows 10 now. By that, I pretty much mean, like, there's no longer any exclusives for the Xbox One, and that's kind of ridiculous. And yeah, you can say, oh, they are exclusives because they're exclusive to the only one console, and you can't get it on PS4 or Wii U or whatever. But PC is a gaming platform. You can't deny that. Windows 10 is a gaming platform. It just seems ridiculous. The whole Play Anywhere thing is kind of ridiculous to me. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They were like, oh yeah, so if you're playing a game at home and then you have to go and drive someplace, you can have it on your tablet or Windows tablet. And it's like, if I'm driving someplace, why the hell am I be playing a game? It's like one of those things, If I'm going someplace, it's because I'm going someplace, It's like, I mean, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird and pointless to me. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. Like with the games they had, they showed off stuff that everyone knew. Gears of War, There was a new Forza that was leaked just before the conference. I don't know. It was just very, very boring. There wasn't too many games that I gave a shit about. The games I was interested in, Scalebound, because I'm a big Platinum Games fan, and I'm a big fan of Hideki Kamiya, of Devil May Cry and Okami, Bayonetta fame. Big fan. I've played all the Platinum games, well, almost all of them. But yeah, I'm a big fan, and I've been looking forward to Scalebound, but I've been kind of iffy on it, especially when I heard that it's got delayed to 2017. I was like, what the hell? But I can tell just from the gameplay that this is not living up to what it could be. It's not a heavy action game like previous Platinum games are, and I understand going into it, like they said, that's not what it was going to be. But this is Platinum Games. They're known for their heavy action. Even when they were with Capcom and when they were part of Clover, they're known for their heavy action. It's just weird. Like I don't know. It just seems very basic, the action, and some of the stuff like with the dragon it seems very basic and not as fleshed out as it could be. And what killed it for me was Kamiya came out on stage and said, "This is the biggest boss that Platinum has ever made." And it was a giant fucking crab. And that's all it was. It wasn't even that big. Like, the first boss in Bayonetta 2 is like 10 times the size of that thing. The final boss of Bayonetta 1, it's just several of the bosses from Wonderful 101. I could go on and on. That was not the biggest boss ever made. I don't know what Kamiya was talking about, because I respect the dude. Like, he's awesome. I mean, he knows how to make games. Personally, I feel Microsoft has a little bit too much creative control with that game, but I don't know. That's maybe going all conspiracy theory on this shit, but that's the topic for another video. But anyways, Scalebound, very let down by what I've been seeing. Recore's another one. Big fan of Keiji Inafune. Plus, I had some of the people who worked on Metroid Prime. Awesome. Then we saw the gameplay, and it looks like a very generic, like third-person, like shooter type of game. Like, it looks very generic. Like, there's nothing that really stood out to me. You have like some like the hook shot grappling type whatever stuff on it. It's like whatever. It just didn't capture me. It's not what I thought it would be. I don't know. It just didn't capture me like I thought it would. When I first seen the concept of it last year, I was like, okay, cool. Waiting on some gameplay. I'm pretty sure it'll be good. And then I saw the gameplay, and I'm like, okay, it just didn't excite me. And then of course they ended with the Project Scorpio stuff, which whatever. I'm getting so sick of this. This generation has been so fucked up. Like, I just bought a PS4 in October, and now they're talking about the PlayStation Neo, and they confirmed it exists, but it wasn't at Sony's conference. And I paid $350 whatever for the system, and now it's going to be obsolete pretty quickly. But at the same time, it's not going to be, because it's not a new hardware generation. They're trying to go to the same way of like mobile phones, and where there's a new model every other year or whatever. It's so stupid. Consoles do not need that. Project Scorpio is no different. The fact that they announced at the end, when they announced Xbox One S at the beginning, and it's like, oh yeah, buy the Xbox One Slim this holiday, and then next holiday buy the Scorpio. Like, that's just stupid business practices. Like you're cannibalizing your sales. Like, seriously, that's just ridiculous. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. That combined with all the VR shit, it's just, this generation has been really screwed up with all the extra add-ons and peripherals, and just all the online crap too, because there's so much shit that's online. I mean, I can go on and on, but we're talking about E3 here. I'm getting off track. Microsoft's conference bored me. Sony's was actually really damn good. What I liked about Sony's was they showed off games. Again, so it wasn't as wow as last year. My issue with Sony is the fact that there's not a lot of games they showed off are in development. God of War, I am super excited for. I love the God of War games. Big fan of them. I own all of them. And I'm excited for this new one, although I am a little bit hesitant towards the new direction the gameplay is going in. I'm hoping it'll still have that God of War feel, and I'm hoping it's not just The Last of Us with a God of War skin. But that's just me being a little bit hesitant. But at the same time, what I saw looked amazing. It's definitely one of my favorite games of E3, and I cannot wait to see more, especially with I want to know what happened to Kratos at the end of 3. I want to know where he got from then until now. I want to know more about his son. I want to know about the Norse stuff, because they did confirm it will have Norse mythology, which is awesome. I'm really excited to see how they're going to mesh that with the, coming off of the Greek mythology now going into the Norse mythology. I'm curious how they're going to do that without it sounding very fanficky. But I have faith that it's gonna be good. But yeah, but we already knew that they're gonna do that. We didn't really know, but we were pretty much speculated, because everything else, like Uncharted 4's, come out. They made a new Uncharted, they made a new Infamous years back. Like as far as like Sony's like big series that we know they've been working on, we know this new God of War game has been worked on the past like 2 or 3 years. They've talked about it, we just never seen it. It's never been unveiled. So we knew, as far as their big series, it was finally time to see this. So I remember when they had the big orchestra at the beginning of the conference, I was like, this sounds like God of War music. This sounds like God of War music. And they showed the trailer, and they showed the kid playing, and then he was talking to someone, you heard the voice. I'm like, that sounds like Kratos. Come on, where are you, Kratos? And he steps out of the shadows, and he's an old dude now with a beard, and I was like, holy shit. And like I said, then they showed the gameplay, and I was like, wow, they've changed it up. Like I said, the battling still seems pretty much like God of War, but I'm just, I'm gonna see more. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. The problem with it is they just said it's in development. It could come out next year. It could come out in 2018. We don't know. It could be years before we see this game. Same thing with several other games. The Spider-Man game, freaking awesome. Spider-Man by Insomniac Games, exclusive to the PS4. I'm super excited for that. Big Spider-Man fan. I can't stress that enough. I cannot wait for Spider-Man Homecoming next year. He was awesome in Civil War. I cannot wait. That's just, Spider-Man's he's coming back, and it's awesome. I love it. But when are we going to get the game? It looks cool, but next year, 2018, when? Again, in development. Last Guardian, though, got a date, and I'm very excited for that. Last Guardian, October 25th, does have that collector's edition, which I am very, very excited for. I already got my pre-order down on that collector's edition. That was really what did. I was like, yes, finally a date for Last Guardian. Thank you. The wait is almost over. The wait is almost over. The 10-year wait. It's gonna be so good. I know Last Guardian's gonna be good. Some things I wish Sony would have talked about. I wish they would have talked about. I wish Square Enix would have came out on stage and showed off some stuff, because they were terrible. Microsoft, they had that terrible Final Fantasy 15 demo. Who the Noctis just kept getting punched over and over. The guy playing it didn't know how to play it, and they made it look like shit. I wish they would have came out at Sony's conference and was like, oh, here's Dragon Quest Builders, here's Dragon Quest Heroes 2 for the West, or even better, here's Dragon Quest 11. That's what they should have done. But or at least showed off some other, like maybe like Star Ocean 5 or something. Something other than Final Fantasy 15. Or Kingdom Hearts 3, even though we knew Kingdom Hearts 3 was not going to be in this conference going in, but still, just something other than Final Fantasy 15. But instead, they showed off a terrible Final Fantasy 15 demo at Microsoft's conference, and they showed off at Sony's Final Fantasy 15 VR, which is terrible. Like, why? That is a game that, I'm not into the VR stuff to begin with, so I may be biased when I sound like this, but I will say, even if I was into the VR stuff, that is a game that does not need virtual reality. You don't need VR shit with Final Fantasy 15. Like, who thought of that? Who thought of, okay, let's sacrifice more resources into 15 by making it have VR stuff? It's not like we have that Kingdom Hearts 3 game that should have came out 5 years ago in development, huh? It's like, what the hell is Square Enix doing? I don't understand it. Like I said, where's all the Dragon Quest stuff? They could have easily shown off Dragon Quest stuff at Sony's conference, because there's tons of Dragon Quest games exclusive to the PlayStation 4 that we need to be getting here in the West. There's no excuse for it. There is no excuse. That's just, and that's more Square Enix than Sony. I'm not blaming Sony for that. I'm just blaming Square Enix. But at the end of the day, Sony's conference, pretty good. The only thing I really didn't care about was, I didn't care about, what was it, Detroit Becoming Human. I'm not a big fan of those kind of games unless they really hook me. I recently picked up Until Dawn, and again, I'm not a big fan of the whole interactive games, but with Until Dawn, I'm a big fan. I'm a big horror movie fan, big slasher fan, so it keeps me interested because of that. It's actually really fun because of that. Days Gone, I wasn't really too thrilled about. I mean, it looks interesting, but the zombie games are a dime a dozen these days, so I definitely have to see more before I have any more judgment on that. Horizon Zero Dawn looks amazing. Next to God of War and Last Guardian, Horizon is probably one of my most anticipated games coming to the PS4, but unfortunately not this year. They did have a Gravity Rush 2 trailer out of the conference, which it looks amazing. I'm excited for it, but again, no release date. They just keep saying it's going to release later this year, which is whatever. But like I said, they talked about VR stuff too, which I don't care about. But all in all, most of the stuff we knew about. We knew they weren't going to talk about Neo, which is good. Sony did good by that, even though the Neo exists still and is stupid, just like Project Scorpio is ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. Yeah, 6 teraflops up. Okay, but how fun are the games to play? That's just, to me, the Wii U proves that you don't need the best in graphics and you don't need the best in tech to make a fun game. As long as you can make the gameplay fun, like that's what it's all about. And yes, power does help to that, but it's more. It's not all about the frame rate and the resolution and how detailed you can get that grass looking. Like at the end of the day, that's not what matters. What matters is can I make a can I play a very fun, very engaging game that just it gives us that feel that we had when we were kids, that holy crap, this is a fun video game I'm playing, an escape from the real world. And Nintendo's doing just that with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which honestly, here's the funny thing. If you're going to ask me who won E3, at the end of the day, I think this was a piss poor E3 overall, but what we did get was pretty good. I went into Sony's very pessimistic, thinking, oh god, Microsoft's terrible, Sony's isn't going to be that good. I've been kind of disappointed with my PS4 lately. Uncharted 4 was very disappointing compared to the other games, and it hasn't been too much to play that I'm interested in. But I went into Sony saying, if they show off Last Guardian, give me a release date, they show off more games that I want, like God of War, I'll be good. And they did just that. God of War, we're getting it. New Spider-Man game, like I said, we're getting it. Horizon looks amazing. Even before E3, we knew that we were getting Dragon Quest Builders, which I'm excited for. I'll be definitely getting that day one. So there's games coming out. There's even other games, like I said, that they didn't show off at the conference, like Gravity Rush 2. There's also this one game called Bound, which looks amazing. There's lots of games, lots of different variety too. Even games that I'm not going to care too much about, like Gran Turismo Sport. I'm not a Gran Turismo fan. I'm not a big realistic racing simulator fan. But I have friends that are, and I have a friend in particular who is very excited for this. That's great. Great that we're getting that. There's just lots of good stuff, and it's lots more variety than what Microsoft is offering, in my opinion. And it's stuff that you can only get on the PlayStation 4. Nintendo showed off stuff you can get only on their platforms. People are going to be like, oh, Zelda, they brought one game to the show and that's it. They brought one game to demo, but they showed off a shit ton of stuff. They showed off a new Mario Party game, which actually is changing up the formula very well and adds a lot of strategy. Mario Party Star Rush for the 3DS. The grid-like boards that they're doing now is really, really intriguing. Like, I'm actually really on board with this. I was watching gameplay videos. It looks really fun. Hopefully it's better than Island Tour, because the last 3DS Mario Party game, Island Tour, it was okay at best, but it was really very stale. So I'm hoping this one is a lot better, because Mario Party DS was amazing. They showed off more Paper Mario Color Splash, which actually looks really good. And as you know, I'm not a big fan of Sticker Star, but this one looks really awesome. Like, I'll be honest. And people were saying they didn't have any other new games besides Zelda. I just named off Mario Party Star Rush, but then there's another new game that no one is really talking about that is going to be amazing. It's called Ever Oasis. It's basically if Animal Crossing meets Zelda and meets the Mana games with a little bit of Monster Hunter and Fantasy Life thrown into it. That's basically what this game is, and it looks amazing. It's being made by Grezzo, which, if you guys know, they developed the remakes for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the 3DS, and the game's was created by the original creator of the Mana series, which is amazing. So the fact that Nintendo has this brand new IP coming to the 3DS is just awesome, and no one's really talking about it. And this is a game that really needs more exposure. Like as I was saying, and again, people say Nintendo doesn't make new games and don't make new IPs. It's just Mario and Zelda. This proves it. There are new IPs they come out with all the time. Just like last year. Last year's big hit, Splatoon. Brand new IP coming out of Nintendo. Last year we also had a brand new IP on the eShop made by HAL, who makes the Kirby games, and it was called Box Boy. And this year, this 30th actually, we have the sequel coming out in the eShop for $5 called Box Boy. And it's a puzzle platformer. Like I said, it's very quirky, just like Kirby is. Different feel than Kirby. Definitely different. Kirby's more of an action platformer, whereas Box Boy is definitely more on the puzzle. It's not really any real enemies or anything. It's just basically puzzle platforming, but still, it's quality. The first one was $5, and I loved it, and I cannot wait for the sequel. But again, that was a new IP. There's also other IPs that Nintendo tries to bring out, like Rhythm Heaven. They also announced Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix came out that day, the second day of the Treehouse, for the eShop, exclusive in North America. A lot of people are complaining about it, and honestly, what I want to say is don't complain, guys. Download the game. Check it out. $30. I secured mine. I jumped right on it, downloaded it. Been having a blast with it. As you guys know, I'm a big physical retail guy when it comes to my games. I love physical copies. I love them. I like them better than digital. Always have. And my thing is, I like them because I like collecting games. But at the end of the day, and this is something I don't think people realize about themselves when they take into account how much they love their hobbies. But I am a gamer first and a collector second. So what that means is a game is a game no matter what. And that's just the bottom line. That game, whether it's saved on an SD card digitally or whether it comes on a cartridge in a box that had shrink wrap from a retail, those things don't determine whether the game is fun to me or not. Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix is just as much fun as it would have been if I had a physical card. Would I have liked a retail copy? Hell yeah. It would have been nice to have it as part of my collection because I have the DS one, I have the Wii one. It would have been nice to complete the set, at least the North American set, because we never got the Game Boy Advance one, unfortunately. Sad face. But it would have been nice to complete the North American set and have them all physically sitting on my shelf. Alas, I cannot. But they still brought it over. And you want to know why they brought it over to eShop only? It's because the previous one sold like shit. The DS one ended up in bargain bins because no one bought it. Everyone looked at it and thought it was shovelware. Rhythm Heaven Fever on the Wii, I think, sold like 13,000 in the US, which is terrible. I bought both. I have the DS one and I have the Wii one. I bought both. I did my part. Did you guys do your part? That's what I'm saying. Like, people complain so much about why don't they make this or why don't they make that. The problem is Nintendo is trying to, and you're not helping them. Last year there was several different IPs they brought out that were different than Mario and Zelda. A really good example is Codename Steam. Codename Steam is a brand new IP by Intelligent Systems. No one gave it a chance because, the art style, and because it was supposedly a rip-off, people said, about Valkyria Chronicles, even though it's really not, and the fact that it wasn't Fire Emblem. People wanted Fire Emblem up the ass, or Paper Mario. That's what I'm saying. So people like, they complain when Nintendo does constant sequels, but when they try to do something new, they're like, well, where's this? You know, it's like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. When that was announced, people complained, where was Metroid Prime 4? Why isn't Retro Studios making that? Well, Metroid Prime doesn't even sell half as good as Donkey Kong Country. That's just facts. What's Nintendo going to do? Do the one that sells the most, or do the one that sells less? That's how a business works. Yes, Nintendo is very consumer friendly, but at the same time, at the end of the day, they are a business. They have to do what keeps them afloat. And yes, you can go on and say, oh, well, the Mario games that sell millions, they're selling them to little kids, blah, blah. I'm the gamer that's stuck with them since the 80s and 90s, blah, blah. That may be, but at the same time, they are a business. They need to stay afloat. Just think about that. If you want them to bring out new IPs and new ideas, support them, whether it's digital or physical. Buy Box Boy, $5 in the eShop. Buy the sequel, Box Boy, again, $5 in the eShop. Buy Rhythm Heaven Megamix, it's $30 in the eShop. And while you're at it, $30 spent will give you, some gold Nintendo coins on My Nintendo, which can earn you other games to download as well. You're getting free games just for buying games. Nintendo is supporting you guys, but you guys aren't supporting Nintendo. That's, I guess, the gist of it. That's the reason why Rhythm Heaven Megamix is digital only, because the previous game sold like crap, and it's not worth it to make a physical copy and spend the extra money and labor and resources to do that, when they can just translate it and put it on the eShop. So, to all you guys complaining about where's the physical copy, how many people bought it when it was on the DS and when it was on the Wii? I did. Did you? So yes, as to who won E3, I'm going to say it was a tie between Nintendo and Sony, even though that definitely was not their best years, but I think they both had a good lineup of games. We had a lineup of stuff from both the Wii U and the 3DS. Sony had a lot of stuff, both current and later down the road for PS4. And I'm excited for all of it. I just am. Pretty much everything that Nintendo showed, I'll be getting. Pokemon Sun and Moon got both reserved. Zelda Breath of the Wild, I'll be getting it on Wii U and on NX because I'm a huge Zelda fan, obviously. My favorite series, I'll be getting both versions. Yokai Watch 2, getting both versions, definitely. I love the first game. Dragon Quest 7, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Dragon Quest 7. In September, we finally got a date. Hell yeah, Dragon Quest 7. So yeah. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I'm getting that this Friday. As far as Sony, like I said, God of War, Horizon, Last Guardian, Spider-Man, Bound, Gravity Rush 2. I could go on and on and on. There's so many games from both these companies. My Wii U, 3DS, and PS4 will have plenty of playtime. I really don't need an Xbox One, especially when, if I want to, I can just upgrade my computer to Windows 10 and get all those games on there anyways. You know what I mean? I don't know what Microsoft's doing anymore. The games that I was interested in look like letdowns, like Recore and Scalebound, so that's why Microsoft didn't do diddly dick for me at E3. One thing I want to point out, though, is everyone's saying Sony won E3, and everyone's saying Nintendo failed because they only had one game. But let's look at the facts. IGN gave Breath of the Wild the Best Wii U Game Award, the Best Adventure Game Award, and it was their game of the show. It was the best game to them that they saw. And IGN's like top of the line when it comes to the gaming media, the gaming press. It's like top of the line. Breath of the Wild was also listed among several other games on sites like GameSpot, GamesRadar, Eurogamer, I could go on. I can also show this poll of the day from GameFAQs, which was on the 16th. I believe this is the 16th. And as you can see, Breath of the Wild takes it by a landslide. What game from E3 this year are you most looking forward to? The only game that comes close is Final Fantasy 15, and it doesn't even have half, nowhere near half of the percentage that Breath of the Wild does. And this poll wasn't finished when I took this screenshot, but if I look back on it, it still say the same. You can go on GameFAQs.com and check in their previous polls if you want, but Breath of the Wild ended up with a 34.77%. That's over 7,000 votes for one game, compared to over just barely 3,000 for Final Fantasy 15. That pretty much proves my point about, like, the game was so amazing to everyone. Even at Sony, Yoshida himself had said that he was looking forward to Zelda and he can't wait to play it. Like, you have Sony, the head boss of Sony, saying that. You know you have a winner on your hands. I mean, it's just that simple. Statistically, Breath of the Wild was the most talked about game on social media that week. More so than God of War, more so than Final Fantasy 15, or Gears of War, or Call of Duty, or any of those. You know, it just is what it is. You can deny it all you want, but at the end of the day, Zelda took home the gold. And Nintendo, the funny thing is, people keep saying with one game. And that may have been the only playable game, but they had more games to show, which is what I've been saying all along. We got a new, very unique Mario Party game coming out. Got a brand new IP, action adventure RPG, Ever Oasis, being made by the Mana creator, which is awesome. We got, Box Boy coming out. Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix came out that day. Got dates for Dragon Quest VII, Paper Mario Color Splash, so much stuff. And there's even stuff that we know is on the horizon that they didn't talk about. Things like Metroid Prime Federation Force. Things like Pikmin 4. Stuff that we know is coming in the next year or two that they didn't even talk about because they had enough at E3 already. That's my point. So when people like to say that Nintendo didn't do shit at E3, well, I can disprove that by showing the data that Breath of the Wild took home the gold for the most exciting game at the show and the most talked about game. And I can also disprove it when people say they only showed one game. Just go back to their channel, look at their Treehouse live stream. If you don't care for those games, if you don't care for Yokai Watch or Sun and Moon or Box Boy or whatever, fine, that's your taste. You don't care for it. But you can't, just because you don't care for something does not mean it's not a game. It is a game. They are quality games. They are well put together, from a technical standpoint, and that's just how it is. You may not like it, just like I may not like some of the games that Microsoft showed. I don't care about Gears of War. I don't care about Forza 6. I just don't. Am I saying that they're not games or that Microsoft doesn't have games? No, they do have games. They don't have any exclusives to their home console, no, but they have games, yes. Nothing that I care about, though, and it was stuff that we already knew about. So I rest my case. Nintendo and Sony tied for me. This is definitely a lackluster E3. There was no big surprises. Everything was leaked pretty much besides the couple things here and there that were relatively small. There was no shocking thing like the Final Fantasy VII remake or anything last year. At the end of the day, E3 is kind of dying down. That's why I wasn't even in the mood to record it and everything like I have in years past. It just didn't seem worth it to me. I don't know. It was very, very lackluster, but what I did see, I enjoyed. At the end of the day, there's some fun games coming out the next year or two. And, definitely will be picking some up, and I cannot wait. Like I said, my Wii U, PS4, and 3DS are all going to have plenty of playtime. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. That's pretty much how it goes, that's my thoughts on E3. Again, sorry I haven't been making a lot of videos lately. I will say I did pick up Kirby and the new amiibo. I was just, the day it came out, I was really busy running around all day, and I just wanted to play my game in the downtime that I had, so I didn't make an unboxing for it. I will be doing an unboxing this Friday for Tokyo Mirage Sessions, though. I do have the limited edition pre-ordered, just gotta pick it up. So that will be coming soon. And I got some other videos upcoming too that I want to talk about, and just things, subjects I want to talk about and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, if I ever watched this video, and catch you next time.